Hi everyone, and welcome to the Laughter Salad. Today we will be doing a reading about our inner child and what your inner child would say to you if they could say anything. We're going to be using this Oracle of the Fairies, which I like very much and think it has a kind of childish vibe, not in a negative way, of course, but I think my child self would have enjoyed this deck very much. So it's going to be the main deck we're using. I also have some tarot and other decks set outside, and I'll just pull cards from them kind of as needed. The idea is to get what your inner child would tell you if they could tell you anything, any actions that your inner child wants you to take, any healing that your inner child needs. We're kind of just gonna go off based on each individual reading for the details. So without any further ado, let's get to it. I chose these crystals, which are all different colors of calcite, because again, I think I as a child would have really liked these bright colors. So as you're choosing, in addition to using your whatever you usually do, asking your spiritual guides what message will be most helpful for you, it might also be helpful to think like, okay, when I was a kid, which of these crystals would I have liked more? The first one is a yellow calcite. This is what it looks like. Group 2 is a green calcite. It looks like. And group 3 is a blue calcite. This is what it looks like. Timestamps are down below, so when you've made your choice, go ahead and click on one of them and join me in your reading. So we're going to pull 3 to 5 cards and kind of try to do a narrative of what your inner child wants to tell you. So please, Spirit, for the group that picked the yellow calcite, what does their inner child want to tell them? Please, Spirit. The group that picked the yellow calcite, what does their inner child want to tell them? First card that fell out is Find Balance. It says, find a balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. What else would their inner child like to tell them? Please, Spirit, for the yellow calcite group. What would their inner child like to tell them? Please, Spirit. For the yellow calcite group, what would their inner child like to tell them? Please, Spirit, for the yellow calcite group, what would their inner child like to tell them? Anything else, Spirit, that their inner child would like to tell them? Anything else, Spirit, that their inner child would like to tell them? Wow. All right, so bottom deck energy is inspiration. Be prepared as you soon receive a visit from the Fairy of Inspiration. Come dusk or dawn, she can call at any time. Second card, divination. Embrace your powers of divination, which are especially strong right now. You have the ability to see your current situation with crystal clear clarity. Motivation. Wow, all these 3 rhymes. When spring approaches, the flower fairies urge you to spring into action. If there's something you've been yearly thinking about doing, they say get busy and do it. And last, you've got hope. Hope is always there, even if you can't see it. Optimistic expectations can help change a negative situation into a positive one. Here's this cute little rainbow. So, what your inner child is saying to you is to find balance and find more time to connect with yourself and your own powers of divination, like here in this divination card. If you've been feeling unmotivated, if you see here, there's a little girl holding this flower and just looking so happy. your inner child is telling you that as you find balance and find more time for yourself and it's a time to explore your powers of divination, the motivation will follow it, and your inner child is reminding you to have hope. I think as adults, it gets really easy to just, kind of focus too much on our physical world and what's likely and what's possible. And your inner child is reminding you that anything is possible and to stay optimistic. And if it's been hard to find that motivation because it feels like it's not going to lead anywhere, just reconnect with your hopeful self. And again, that motivation will come. That motivation and inspiration will come. I want to take the tarot and ask, what is it that you have to have hope about and that you're going to gain motivation about? I'm going to use this Illuminated Visions, Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck. Please, Spirit, for Group 1 who picked the yellow calcite, what is it that their inner child wants them to have hope about? What is it that they'll gain motivation about as they take time to find balance and embrace their own divinatory powers? What is it that they need to have hope about and they will gain motivation about? Please, Spirit, what does their inner child want to have? What does their inner child want them to have inspiration about? All right, quite a bit of cards. 4 of Swords, 5 of Swords, 4 of Wands reversed, and the Page of Wands. One for each card. Interesting. So below Find Balance, we got the 4 of Swords, which is a card of rest and taking time for yourself. Below the Divination card, you have the 5 of Swords. So you might be predicting a loss where there is none yet. You're feeling defeated before, like, too early, before the whatever that can defeat you has even taken place. And then below motivation, we have the 4 of Wands reversed. So 4 of Wands, it's a card of celebration, and it's also a card of home, marriage, anything like that. So maybe you've been feeling unmotivated to take care of your home, or maybe it's been hard to find motivation because your home is too cluttered or too it's hard to find motivation because you feel like whatever you do, none of it will bring that full 4 of Wands back to you. Like there has been kind of irreparable damage done to your home life, and not even necessarily something like that drastic, but maybe you just feel like you're incapable of like keeping a home, keeping a house, being happy in your home. And maybe you haven't had the motivation to do, just household tasks, like cleaning, doing the dishes, cooking, whatever. And your inner child is telling you that if you take more time to find balance, rest, and don't feel so defeated too early, that motivation to take care of your home, which is in a way taking care of yourself, will come. And then under hope, we've got the Page of Wands, which is a quite hopeful card. So that tells me that this is about a creative project. Your inner self, your inner child is telling you to have hope that your creative project has so far to expand still. It's still in its early stages. You're still exploring, but have hope that it can grow so much. That's what this hope is about. Have hope and faith in your own creativity, in your own creative prowess, in your own creative projects, and you will be rewarded, and you will find inspiration. So now I'm gonna use the Monology Oracle cards to ask, is there anything that your inner child wants you to do right now? Besides finding balance, you know? This find balance, it's more like they're telling you, hey, you need balance. And now they're gonna tell you what they think you need to do to find balance. Please, Spirit, what does the Yellow Calcite group's inner child think that they should do? Is there anything that their inner child wants them to do? Is there anything that their inner child wants the Yellow Calcite group to do? Is there anything that their inner child wants the Yellow Calcite group to do? Be bold and make the first move. Is there anything else that the Yellow Calcite's inner child want them to do? Is there anything else that the Yellow Calcite's inner child want them to do? Is there anything else that the Yellow Calcite's inner child want them to do? Is there anything else that the Yellow Calcite's inner child want them to do? Is there anything else that the Yellow Calcite's inner child want them to do? I only wanted one more, but it wanted to give me two. What do you need to release, waning moon? And step out of your comfort zone, North Node. So this waning moon, it's about, like the card says, what do you need to release? So your inner child wants you to take the time to just be with yourself and meditate on this, to rest, like with this Four of Swords. And if you read tarot yourself, or if you have any other means of divination that you like to use, your inner child is encouraging you to get more in touch with that. And maybe ask this very question: what do I need to release in your divination, in your meditation time? And it's funny because your inner child wants you to rest, but they also want you to do a lot of things. It says, be bold and make the first move and step out of your comfort zone, which kind of go hand in hand. Maybe this creative project is something that you haven't started yet out of fear, out of a lack of hope, or because it's something that's not super comfortable for you. You know, maybe you've been much more focused on less creative avenues, on less creative focuses. Your bottom deck energy is you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. So that's another thing that your inner child wants you to know, that you are good enough. You are good enough to bring this project to full fruition, you know? So yes, that's your message. I think it was pretty straightforward and pretty clear, so I think you got it all. But just to make sure, I'm going to give you a quick recap. Your inner child is telling you that you need balance, you need rest, you need to trust your own powers of divination and reconnect with yourself and not feel defeated before anything has even happened. And as you do that, you will gain more motivation and you'll be able to do the things around the house that you kind of like haven't been able to get to, that you haven't felt up to doing, that you haven't felt motivated to doing. Your inner child also wants to tell you to have hope in your creative endeavors, to have hope that you are going to grow so far, that you're only in the beginning of your journey and you have so far to go, and have hope that inspiration will come and will continue coming. In terms of action, your inner child wants you to, while you're meditating and resting and connecting with yourself, ask yourself, what do I need to release? And your inner child wants you to step out of your comfort zone and go into the unknown and be bold and make that first move in order to bring this project to fruition, with hope that it will all work out, and knowing that you are good enough and that luck is on your side. So that is your message, Group 1. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next video. Check out my Patreon. Link is in the description below. And otherwise, I will see you in the next YouTube video. Have a good one. Hello, Group 2, and welcome to your reading if you picked this green calcite. Like I said in the intro, we're going to start with the Oracle of Fairies. We're going to pull 3 to 5 cards, as many as we kind of feel necessary to tell a little story of what your inner child wants to tell you. Please, Spirit, for the green calcite group, what does their inner child want to tell them? Please, Spirit, what? For the calcite, green calcite group. Your first card is Pure Intention. The Fairy of Manifestation will help you to use your wishes wisely. Manifest your highest desire with pure intention and for the highest good of all. Please, Spirit, what else does the green calcite's group inner child want to tell them? Please, Spirit. Anything else, Spirit, that their inner child wants to tell them? Anything else? Feels like you were a rowdy child. I don't know if you noticed, but this shuffling was rowdy. Your bottom deck energy is hope. Hope is always there, even if you can't see it. Optimistic expectations can help change a negative situation into a positive one. Let me show you that again, because I don't really take my time with it. There you go. You also got moderation. Is there something you know you shouldn't be eating? Try to eat mindfully and healthily, although the fairies say that a little bit of what you fancy is fine. You know, I do believe in moderation sometimes, but not in eating, so I'm not really going to focus on the eating part of that. Wish wisely. Use your wishes wisely to manifest your heart's desire and take practical steps towards making your dreams come true. Inner child. The fairies of playfulness remind you to make time to embrace your inner child. Playing keeps us young at heart. Do something silly and fun, but stay safe. Fun that you got the inner child card and the inner child reading. So both of these cards, Pure Intention and Wish Wisely, are about manifestation, right? And setting your intentions, making your wishes, and your inner child is kind of trying to tell you that you've gone very, or maybe not very, but you've gone off course from what you / your inner child truly desires. You know, there's no intention purer than the intention of a child. So your inner child is telling you, like, pay attention to me and to what I want. And that's why this inner child card came out as well. I think sometimes we can dismiss our own childhood dreams as fanciful or unrealistic or childish or stupid in whatever ways. And your inner child is telling you that when you manifest with your highest heart's desire, with pure intention, you get the highest good. And you should be using your wishes wisely to manifest your heart's desire. That phrase appears in both of these cards. Rather than seeking something else. This moderation card, it's about eating, but to me, it's more about the material world. You know, maybe you have been seeking material gain, not in moderation as you should have been, and your inner child wants you to reconnect with what you truly want rather than what gives you money or earthly gains, you know, and have hope that that will bring you success still, and abundance and everything that you want, you know. Yeah, your inner child just really wants you to reconnect with what you truly want rather than just greedily seeking material gain. All of these cards, 3 of these 5 cards have like a lot of green in them, and you obviously chose the green calcite, which is the color of the heart chakra. So your inner child just really wants you to reconnect with what your emotions and what you truly, truly want. Yeah. I'm gonna use some tarot to pull some clarifying cards for each of these. All right, Spirit, for the green calcite group, can you clarify each of these cards? What is it that they should have pure intention about? What is it that they should be moderate about? What is it that they should wish wisely for? And what is it that they should do? They should play with their inner child, is what I was going to say. What is it? How is it that your inner child wants the green calcite group to stay young at heart? How is it that they want to connect with their inner child? Clarifying prayer for inner child. Eight of Swords reversed. Wow. So below pure intention, you have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is all about fast movement. It's all about, the wands are about passion and fire. So like I was saying, you should have this pure intention about something that you're truly, truly passionate about. And your inner child is telling you that once you do, things will move so quickly. When you manifest with pure intention and you focus on what you truly, 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 truly want, things move quicker than you could ever imagine or hope for. With moderation, you got the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So that's really just a confirmation of what I was saying earlier. You know, you have been trying really, really hard to build a legacy, to build wealth, to build abundance. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you could benefit from a little moderation in that area of your life. Abundance will come, you know, just focus on your pure intention and things will move quickly. Below wish wisely, you got the Hermit. So your inner child is telling you that you've been kind of taking on too many opinions of other people's to make your wishes. You know, don't wish based on what other people want. Obviously, wish based on what you want. The Hermit is about taking time for yourself and kind of just drawing away from the external world, from external distractions, to focus on yourself. And that's what your inner child is telling you, that to wish wisely, you have to withdraw from the external world for a bit. Even if not literally, but just at least within you, you know, at least even if you lead a very busy life, you know, at least 10, 15 minutes every day that you just sit and imagine, okay, what is my dream life like? What do I truly, truly, truly want, you know? And below inner child, you got the Eight of Swords reversed. Children, I feel like a lot of people say that children are fearless, which I don't think is quite true. I think if you interact with a child, you can see that they do have fears, you know, but when they're well supported, they do it anyway, you know, even though they're afraid, they do it anyway. And children are above all free, unlike this woman who's trapped by these ropes and surrounded by these swords. Your inner child wants to run free, wants to be free. Maybe your inner child feels a little bit like you've put them in this box. Your opinion and what you want now no longer has any bearing on our lives because we're an adult now. So it's not, you know, what you think doesn't matter. What you want doesn't matter. And your inner child is like, yes, it does. Yes, it does matter, because what I want is what will make us feel free. Because if your inner child doesn't feel free, you don't feel free either, you know? yeah, that's what your inner child truly, truly wants. Your inner child wants freedom. And the way to get that freedom is for you to figure out what you want. Like, in terms of like adult concerns and like the adult world, what do you want? To just wish wisely and manifest with pure intention, and you can get that even in the serious adult world. Just have hope that you can. So this is what your inner child wanted to tell you. Now I'm going to ask, what does your inner child want you to do to get these things? Like, what actions does your inner child want you to take? Like, we got into it a little bit here with the, obviously your inner child wants you to connect with your wishes, but what action steps does your inner child want you to take? Does your inner child want you to take? Please, Spirit, for the group that picked the green calcite, what actions does their inner child want them to take? Please, Spirit, for the group that picked the green calcite, what action does their inner child want them to take? Please, Spirit, for the group that picked the green calcite, what action does their inner child want them to take? What action wants to for this group that picked the green calcite? What actions does their inner child want them to take? Any other actions that their inner child wants them to take? A fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. Be bold and make the first move, cardinal moon. Adjustments are required, third quarter moon. All right. Your bottom deck energy is the end of a tough cycle approaches. So there's something in your life that's ending. Both the fiery climax approaches and the end of a tough cycle approaches cards like point to an ending, arriving in your life. And your inner child wants you to take matters into your own hands and control that ending, have that ending on your own terms rather than just having it happen to you. If this is like about a job, like maybe you have a seasonal job and it's going to end soon and you don't know if they'll renew you or not, your inner child just wants you to like walk out before you're fired, basically. I just saw 33333, 3333. So if that's an important number for you. So yeah, your child is telling you like things cannot keep going in the way that they have been, where I just feel super trapped, where you're not really doing what you truly want to be doing, where you're just focused on hustling with no moderation. So you need to take this matter into your own hands, be bold and make the first move. And I don't want to say control this ending, but just like your inner child does want to say control this ending. I don't want to say it because I don't think trying to control things is always necessarily that helpful, but that's what your inner child wants you to do. Aries, we're about to enter Aries seasons, or we just entered it. I'm not super sure the dates, but so yeah, if you have a job that you've been thinking about quitting, or that you're worried about getting fired from, your inner child is just like, get out before they kick you out. If you this be bold and make the first move isn't really about starting a new thing, because you don't even know what you want yet. You first have to take this time to reflect and figure out what you need to adjust in your life to get what you truly want. So this be bold and make the first move is not about starting something new, but it's about making the first move to end this tough cycle, you know? This doesn't necessarily have to be about quitting your job. You know, if you're in your job and you love your job and you really don't want to quit it, obviously don't quit your job if you don't want to. It could also be about a relationship, especially with this 10 of Pentacles here. That can also be about building a family together. And your inner child is telling you, like, reflect on whether that is what you truly want, and if it's not, it's best to end it sooner rather than later. You know, as soon as you know that you're in a relationship that you don't want, there's no point in trying to drag it on, you know? Either talk to this person, make the first move to talk about these problems and make the necessary adjustments, or just bring it to a fiery climax and finish it, you know? So yeah, this fire climax, it could be about your job, it could be about a relationship. Could it be about anything else? Aries. It could also be about not a romantic relationship, but just like a friendship, just someone in your life who might themselves be an Aries, or a Capricorn. The end of a tough cycle approaches. That, you know, they're just not helping you reach your highest good anymore, and your inner child with this Hermit card is telling you, like, it's better to be alone than to be in bad company. So yeah, if you need to end it, whether it be a romantic relationship, a friendship, or a job. Your inner child is saying, be bold, make the first move, and do it on your own terms, you know? I feel like your message was pretty straightforward and it made sense as went along, but I'm gonna go ahead and go over it once again just to make sure you got all the details. First of all, your inner child wants to tell you that you have not been focusing on what you truly want as much as you should be. You have instead been focusing on your material world excessively without moderation, and your inner child feels like they're not being listened to and like they are trapped. And your inner child wants to tell you that the best way to go forward is with pure intention and wishing wisely. And even if that feels unrealistic, just have hope and all will work out. If there is something in your life that you feel that is ending, your inner child wants to kind of take the reins of that end and have it on your own terms. Your inner child knows that you know that adjustments are required. So your inner child is just like really telling you, like, make those adjustments, you know, don't just let life make the adjustments for you. You know what I'm saying? Because if we keep ignoring a message that we get again and again and again, eventually the universe just kind of makes the decision for us. And it's usually less pleasant than if we just listen to the message in the first place. So yeah, that's your message from your inner child. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to check out my Patreon in the description. I do monthly advice readings as well as a lot of other stuff on there, so feel free to check it out if you feel so called. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Have a good one. All right, hello group 3, and welcome to your reading if you chose this blue calcite. Like I said in the intro, we'll start with the Oracle of Fairies, and we're gonna pull 3 to 5 cards, enough so that we feel like we can get a little narrative of what your inner child wants to say to you. So let's get started. What does the group 3s reflect the blue calcite inner child wants to say to them? What does group 3's inner child wants to say to them? What does group 3's inner child want to say to them? Anything else? Anything else the group 3's inner child wants to say to them? Your bottom deck energy is new beginnings. The fairy godmother heralds. The fairy godmother heralds the joyous news of a new baby, or the birth of a cherished idea. Protect and nurture your ideas as you would a baby. And there's this fairy holding some flowers in her hand. Abundance. Prepare yourself for incoming abundance. Release any mental blocks you may have. In fairyland and human land, there is enough abundance for everyone. Find balance. Find a balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. Moon energy. Surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. If you're feeling confused, this fairy comes to calm emotions and reassure you that peace of mind is possible. Wow, your inner child is very sweet. Were you a very sweet child? So yeah, this is a message of reassurance, mostly. Like this moon energy card says, life has a natural ebb and flow, and your inner child is telling you that you are in, or you are about to come into, a moment of flow with this abundance card and with this new beginnings card right here. So if you've been like really stressed, really hustling because you're just so worried, your inner child is telling you to just rest more and chill, because your abundance and your new beginning is coming. Yeah. Kind of short, but that's basically it. Yeah, you have incoming abundance. Your inner child basically just wants you to chill out and not worry. Your inner child is just like, look, we got this. You don't need to be worrying. We absolutely got this. Let me pull a clarifying card from the tarot for each of these. Please, Spirit, can I have a clarifying card for each of these Oracle Moon cards about what Group 3's inner child has to say to them? What does Group 3's inner child have to say to them? Can I please have a clarifying card about the Moon energy card? Please, Spirit. One more clarifying card about the Moon energy card. Please, Spirit. One more clarifying card about the Moon energy card. Wow. Interesting. All right, so below abundance, you have the Ace of Cups reversed. For me, the Ace of Cups reversed is a lot about self-love. And your inner child is telling you that there's like so much self-love within you that you could access and experience this abundance, but you're not letting it in as much as you could be. Yeah, your inner child just really wants to tell you, like, I love you, I love you, I love us, we love us, you know? The universe loves us. We are so loved. You know, that's all things your inner child wants you to kind of internalize, you know, just feel the abundance that exists in fairyland and human land, the abundance of love, really, the abundance of positivity. Like, there's so much for you if you just like open yourself up to it. With Find Balance, you got the Eight of Wands reversed. The Eight of Wands is about speed, agility, getting reversed. Your inner child just wants you to slow down, like it says here, take a power nap. But you know, you don't need to be only working to be pushing yourself as hard as you might have been in the past. Your inner child just wants you to slow down so that you're able to feel this love that your inner child and the universe and every part of you feels for you. Like, every part of you loves you, you know? And if you don't feel that, it's because you're just blocking it from yourself. But like, there's so much love within you for yourself, you know? And with the Moon energy, below that, you got the Ten of Swords. So that's really makes me think of this first sentence here: surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. So you maybe just finished like a really, really tough cycle, and your inner child is just like, look, that's just life. You know, it's hills and valleys, hills and valleys. We were just, you know, going up a hill. But the nice thing is that when you get at the top and you get to go down, it's just like gaining speed, and it's lots of fun, you know, like a roller coaster. So even though you felt like you were climbing, you were getting stabbed in the back, your inner child is telling you that that doesn't mean you did anything wrong, and that doesn't mean you're not loved. That's just the cycles of life. You know, life is cyclical, and yeah, it's just a part of life. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It doesn't mean you're being punished. Below your bottom deck energy was justice. So what's yours will come to you, you know, and whatever effort you've been putting in will be rewarded, and you don't have to keep hustling as hard as you have been. And whatever pain you've been through, like, you receive joy that's directly proportional to that pain, but like tenfold, you know. However big that pain was, multiply it by 10 and you will get that amount of joy. So yeah, let's ask what your inner child wants you to do. This is what your inner child wanted you to know, but let's ask what they want you to do. Please, Spirit, what does Group 3's inner child want them to know? Anything else? Someone's wordy. That's quite enough. We don't need any more cards. So the first thing your inner child wants you to do is surrender to the divine. Full moon. Feels like that's pretty, you know, self-explanatory. Yeah, just surrender to the divine, surrender to the cycles of the moon. This is just the cycles of life. You also got don't let pride get in your way. And you got this kind of above this fine balance card. So maybe you feel like being a hustler is a big part of your identity, or like something that you really take pride in. You know, like, I'm such a hard worker. You know, I really am a go-getter. And your inner child is telling you, like, don't let that pride get in the way of finding your own balance. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. And don't let your pride get in the way of taking care of yourself and slowing down and following the natural rhythms of life. You know, that's another thing about rhythms. You know, there's times of abundance and times of there's lean times and abundant times, but there's fast times and slow times. And if you're in a slow period right now, there's no point in trying to use your action to, like, trying to take action to force it. Because if you're meant to be in the slow period, you're going to be in the slow period no matter what you do. And that kind of wanting to force it just comes from the ego, just comes from our pride. So your inner child is just being like, don't let that pride, that identity of yourself as a hard worker, as a hustler, get in the way of you resting, of you just having a good time, you know. And above abundance, we got the energies, above abundance, we got the energies gaining momentum. So like I said earlier with that roller coaster, you know, you're going down, and as you go down, the faster you get, you know, so you're gaining that momentum of abundance coming to you. There's 3 birds on this card flying. So Yeah, I don't know why I felt the need to point that out, but there is 3 birds on this card, correct. Your bottom deck energy is a time to give rather than take. So maybe your inner child thinks it would be helpful for you to do something for someone else. Because, maybe you've been so focused on your work that you haven't had time for your friends, and that you haven't had time for yourself. And when you give to other people, in a way that can feel like giving to yourself too, and as long as it comes from a place of genuine and willing giving rather than a place of obligation or anything that leads to resentment, giving can be so good. It can feel so good. And it can be restorative for ourselves as well. That's why this is the new moon in Virgo. Virgo is a very, very healing energy. And giving to someone else might help you see areas or ways in which you could give to yourself, and it might help you see ways in which you are so abundant, and it might help you bring balance into your life. So that's your reading, group 3. I think it was fairly straightforward, at least I thought so, but I'll still give you a quick recap. First of all, your inner child wants you to know that there's so much abundance coming into your life, and that you don't have to work as hard as you have been. You can rest, you can slow down, and that any pain you've been through is just the natural cycles of life, and it's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you haven't been working hard enough. It's not because you don't love yourself enough. Your inner child wants you to know that there's so much love within you for yourself, and there's abundance coming externally that will reflect that inner self-love, and that abundance hasn't come in the past. Again, not because you've done anything wrong, but just because those are the natural cycles of life. And soon you will feel like you are having a new beginning after this 10 of Swords difficult cycle that will be so abundant. Your inner child wants you to not let pride get in your way, not let your image of who you are or other people's image of who you are limit your actions or force you to act in a way that doesn't feel good, that doesn't feel natural. Your inner child just wants you to surrender to the divine and trust these cycles, because this energy is gaining momentum. This abundance is coming, as is just, as is right. Lastly, your inner child wants to say that there might be something that you can do for someone else that will make you feel more balanced and more loved. But don't push it, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. Yeah, I really felt like your inner child was very wise, more so than the other groups. Maybe you were like a quiet, very thoughtful child, but this felt like such a thoughtful message to be coming from an inner child. Not that the other ones weren't thoughtful or weren't helpful, but the other ones did generally feel more childish than this one. This one just feels like so wise. But yeah, that was your reading, group 3. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Please let me know in the comments if you have any follow-up questions or comments. The link to my Patreon will be in the description if you would like to check this out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next YouTube video. Bye-bye and have a good one.